Hello students, welcome to my channel. From today onwards, I will teach you the English literature book of class 10th. But before starting the chapters, I'd like to teach you about language and literature, since these two terms are quite confusing. Moreover, if we don't have a clear concept about these terms, we cannot understand our literature book easily and properly. So throughout the video, we'll discuss about what is language, what is literature, what is literary device, and at last, we'll discuss about some of the important literary devices. But before starting the video, I want to make you inform that if you want the हिंदी एक्सप्लेनेशन, अगर आप इसका हिंदी में एक्सप्लेनेशन चाहते हैं तो उस वीडियो का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिया गया है. नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट. लैंग्वेज एंड लिटरेचर. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल we'll discuss about what is language. Dear students, just think over it. Actually, whenever we have to communicate with others, whenever we want to express our views in front of others, we use a medium for doing so. And that medium is known as language. You can say the easiest way to communicate with others is known as language. It can be vocal, written, or a sign language. Let me tell you a story. There was a person who went to a Gulf country, of course for getting a job, for earning money, and fortunately he got a job in an oil and gas company. And he started working there under an engineer. One day, when he was working at night, there was no one. And unfortunately, a gas pipeline got burst there. So now, the problem was that he didn't know either English or Arabic. On the other hand, his engineer, his boss, didn't know how to speak Hindi. So just guess, how did he communicate? Actually, he got an idea. He went to his engineer, his boss, and he started shouting, "Sir, sir, psh, psh." And through this way, he informed about that incident. So my point is here that whenever you use a medium, the easiest medium, which can be understood even by a layman, by an illiterate person, it is called language. So now note down the definition. The colloquial medium of the exchange of one's views, which can be understood even by a layman. Layman means illiterate persons, is called language. For example, he is a rich person, he is intelligent. Now don't say that illiterate person don't understand English. I'm talking about those whose native language is English. Okay, so I'm telling you again, the easiest medium. Colloquial means what? Easiest. The easiest medium of the exchange of one's views, which can be understood even by a layman, is called language. Now do tell me, what is the meaning of this sentence? He's rolling in luxury. Just think over it. He's rolling in luxury means what? He is a rich person. But if you want to infer the meaning, the to the word meaning, word to word meaning, then you cannot imagine the real meaning. Just imagine you go to a rickshaw puller and tell him that, my brother is rolling in luxury. It is quite possible that he will not understand that sentence, the meaning of that sentence. He has to put pressure on his mind. So whenever you speak something or you write something and the meaning is completely different from the to the word meaning. To the word, it means word to word meaning. Let's see another example. He is Newton of our class. So what is the meaning of this sentence? Do you think Newton has come to your class or come someone's class? No. Actually, the speaker or the writer is trying to say that the student is as intelligent as Newton. So here, the intelligence of that student is being compared with Newton's intelligence. So whenever we use this type of sentences, whenever we speak something and the meaning of that sentence is completely different, completely opposite from the word meaning of that sentence, it is called literature. Now note down the definition of literature. The classical medium of the exchange of one's views, which can be understood by those who have literary concept and cannot be understood by a layman, is called literature. I'm telling you again, whenever you speak something in a sophisticated way, which cannot be understood by illiterate persons, and even the literate person should put pressure on his mind to understand that sentence, it is called literature. Okay, so note down the examples as well. Now, literature is generally found in the form of prose, poetry, novel, play, drama, etc. Now we'll discuss about literary device. It is also known as figure of speech. So the device which is used while writing literature for rendering special or different meaning, it is called literary device. I repeat, the device which is used while writing literature for rendering special or different meaning, it is called literary device. There are many literary devices and let's discuss some of them. The first one is metaphor. Actually, this is a literary device in which we compare the quality of two things indirectly. So you can write the definition. When we use a word to compare the quality of two persons or things indirectly in literature, it is called metaphor. Actually, dear students, I'm telling you one thing, that I try to write the definition in a simple way so that you can understand it easily. Whenever you compare the quality of two things, you use a literary device, metaphor. As for example, he is Sachin of our team. Here you are comparing the quality of that player to the quality of Sachin. It means that player is playing like Sachin. He was collecting frozen pearls during rain. Frozen pearls. The writer had compared the hailstones with frozen pearls. So whenever comparison takes place in a sentence, it is called metaphor. The second one is simile. Actually, simile is quite similar with metaphor, but there is a difference. Whenever we compare the quality of two persons or things using as or like in literature, it is called simile. For example, he is playing like Sachin. The hailstones look as silver coins. So mark the difference between metaphor and simile. Whenever you use a word to compare the quality indirectly, he is Sachin of our team. So here the comparison takes place indirectly, but in the second sentence, he is playing like Sachin. Here you are using like. Sometimes you can use as well. So whenever you use as or like for comparing the quality of two things, this is called simile. Third one is personification. Let me tell you about personification. Actually, whenever a writer gives a human-like quality to non-humans or non-living things in literature, it is called personification. Just recall the story about Happy Prince. In that story, the statue whips. So have you ever seen a statue who was whipping? No. So this type of literary device is known as personification. Just imagine you go to a forest and there you find a tiger, and that tiger comes to you and starts laughing. Have you ever seen a tiger who was laughing? No. So this is called personification. Whenever you use qualities which are experienced by only human beings, like if you are using he or she for any animal or for any non-living things, it will be the example of personification. Like the tiger was laughing, he was very young. So in this case you are using he for that tiger. We use it for animals and non-living things. So it will be the example of personification. Now next one is hyperbole, exaggeration. Whenever you speak something in an exaggerated way, whenever you give an overstatement to put emphasis, it is called hyperbole. So whenever we enhance something's quality or any incident or any action immensely in literature, it is called hyperbole. Example, he has become a tower. I have taught you this topic a million times. So now if you go through a chapter, a literature book, and in that book if you find this type of sentences, don't think that the writer is lying. Actually, the writer wants to put emphasis, the speaker wants to put emphasis on his action or someone's quality. Now next is irony. Whenever the meaning of a statement or an action is completely opposite from the said sentence or done action, it is called irony. As for example, you get late for your school and you are seeking permission from your teacher to let you into the classroom, and your teacher tells you, "You are great." So do you think your teacher is praising you? No. The meaning of this sentence is completely opposite. Whenever somebody gets failed in his examination and you notice that boy is dancing, so this is called irony. Now next one is alliteration. When a poet or a writer uses two or more words beginning with same consonant sound in a particular line in literature, it is called alliteration. As for example, black box, stand still. Please keep in your mind, these words can be consecutive or there can be other words between these words as well. Next is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, whenever a sound word is used while writing literature, it is called onomatopoeia. For example, a dog was barking, the tiger was roaring. So these are the examples of onomatopoeia. Barking, whenever you read this word, whenever you listen to this word, then a sound comes in your mind. So this is called onomatopoeia. Next one is oxymoron. Whenever you use two words, two adjectives, and the meaning of those adjectives is completely opposite, this is called oxymoron. Whenever two opposite meaning adjectives have been used together in literature, it is called oxymoron. For example, original copy, pretty ugly, quite rage. So the meaning of original and copy is completely opposite. Pretty and ugly is completely opposite. Quite and rage, completely opposite. So this is called oxymoron. Next one is rhyme scheme. Whenever a poet writes a poem in a way so that the sound of the last word of a particular line rhymes with the sound of the last word of other lines for creating rhyme between two or more lines of a poem, it is called rhyme scheme. We denote the sound with alphabet. Next one is enjambment. Whenever two or more consecutive lines of a poem are written without using any punctuation mark, it is called enjambment. So in a simple way, you can say whenever a sentence is divided into two or more lines, a single sentence, whenever a poet divides a single sentence into two or three or more than two lines, but the line should be consecutive, it is called enjambment. Next one is anaphora. Whenever two or more consecutive lines of a poem begin with same word, it is called anaphora. Repetition. Whenever a word or phrase is repeated in literature, it is called repetition. Imagery. Whenever a writer creates a scene or an image through his words in literature, it is called imagery. For example, the tiger was sliding through the long grasses near the river. So here you can notice one thing, the writer is just trying to create a scene into your mind that the tiger was sliding, and you can imagine that scene. So this is called imagery. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed my class. Thanks for watching. And if you have liked my video, then please do like and share this video. And one minute. Please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you.